What is up, everyone? It's your boy Infrared. Welcome to the Scout Reports. Today I bring you an anime review of Kiznaiver Episode 10. Bruh. This episode tore my heart apart. It really did. This was probably the saddest episode of the entire season. Unless ReZero's gonna pull something out these next 2 or 3 weeks, I think this was the most emotionally jarring episode of the entire season, and it was so good. And I've said this over and over in the past few reviews that I had of this series. I am thoroughly surprised at how Studio Trigger is able to bring these type of feelings out in this series. I mean, maybe they just have like a whole new team or something, or I don't know what they're doing, but keep doing it. And I would like to see more of something out of the norm for Trigger once Kiznaiver ends. I want to see a more broader scope of things that they can do, because I am thoroughly impressed by this series. I mean, it's not the best, but it does have the best characters, and I can tell you this episode definitely brought out the feels in this crazy week that we've had in the manga with everything that's going on, and then to get an episode like this just pretty much capped it off the week as we start over on Sunday. So with that being said, let's get down to the breakdown of this episode as we get immediately into the fallout that happened last week with the events that occurred with all the Kiznaivers heading towards the end of the summer with their connected feelings, their connected pain, and now they can read each other's thoughts through the heart. They have all decided to disband. They decided that this is too much for them. All their feelings are in the open. Everybody knows who like who doesn't like who feels what. It's just too much for them all to bear as they decide to split until the summer's over. They find out that once the summer's ending, that ends the Kizuna system, and that pain and that connection that they have will go away. So they decide not to do anything stupid to each other or while they're out by themselves until the end of the summer. They choose not to contact each other, and they all go about their separate ways, which leaves a lonely Katsuhira in his apartment. However, he is consoled by none other than Hisomi. That's the last person I thought that would be there for him. I thought Tenga probably would have stuck around. Maybe they would have hashed out what happened between those two, but Tenga still kind of harbors that hate for what he put Chidori through. So he's there, Hisomi's there, he's saying, you haven't eaten, I brought you over some food, let's sit down, let's talk. Again, this is the last person that I would expect to have any type of feelings for anybody, but he does see Katsuhira as a friend because of his bonding that they shared. We find out that he hasn't been eating or anything because Chidori used to cook his food and everything, so they just had like some canned food. They sat back and hashed out their feelings, as we're told once again that once the system is over, pretty much their connection to each other will go away. The mark will go away as they wonder what type of pain they're gonna feel, or at least Hisomi wonders what type of pain they're gonna feel when it's all over. Like, will they know? Will it be a right-then pain? Will it be unexpected pain? How is it gonna affect them? It is here that Katsuhira starts to explain that his pain with Sonozaki was always in his body and within him, as we also found out last week, but he never noticed a scar or felt any type of pain from her until that incident happened last week that made a breakthrough within him, as he's more of a normal person now. He feels emotion like everyone else. He's not like that docile puppet that he was at the beginning of the series. There's also a little bit of symbolism, because remember in the first episode when he was walking to school, he saw that dead bug on the ground, and that was the beginning of the summer. We see that same bug again, or like the same type of bug outside of his apartment window. Another dead bug on the ground as summer is ending, as he looks at it and kind of reminisces. So that was really good symbolism and good callback to the first episode with that too. Summer's over, and now our kids are back in school, and everybody went back to normal. I mean, it's sad to see that the connection that everybody had was just thrown out the window. It's understandable, but everything is back to how it was, as they're just going about like they never knew each other and nothing ever happened to them. They're just classmates, no acquaintances, no connection, anything. And Yamada's heading to class, and he does such a dick move in this episode. He's asking everybody, hey, welcome back. How was everybody's summer? Did you do anything exciting? Did you go on any tests of courage? Did you fall in love with anybody? Did you get rejected? Did you all bond over fireworks? Tell me how your summer was, as he's trying to get an emotional response out of the Kiznaivers. As they're pissed about what he said, but they're not showing it. Except Tenga, who goes up, who goes up to him enraged, and you can tell he was about to do something, but he decides to stop and just says he has to go to the bathroom. As he's walking away to go to the bathroom, this jackass kicks Tenga's foot and makes him trip, and sees that it didn't have any emotional response. Everybody didn't feel their pain. And he's like, so you guys still aren't connected. I mean, that was just a dick move. I mean, he wasn't my favorite character to begin with. He's probably the only character I didn't like in this entire series. That was kind of jerkish for him to do that. Nico still tries to fight the good fight, and she wants everybody to still be friends. Just because this experiment is over, they don't have the marks anymore, they don't have the pain, doesn't mean that they can't still be friends after everything that they went through. And she's happily accepted as a friend from Kazuhira and Hisomu, as they, join hands and they laugh and joke together. And you can see Tenga looking on from afar as he wants to join, as he was in the bathroom. And it looks like he was crying it out while he was in the bathroom. That's the reason why he went. He shakes his head and walks away. But at least we have 3 people who decide to be friends. Over on the other side of the map, we have the mayor explaining to the counselor and Sonozaki that the Kizuna system will be shut down, probably indefinitely right now. And this really hurts Sonozaki, as she was beginning to feel things again. And distraught that the system will be shut down is something that she needs. She decides to run for it and go outside to the top of the roof and begins to jump again. And as she gets ready to do this, Kazuhira feels the pain, and that alerts Nico and Hisomu, as they're saying, we didn't do anything, so where's this pain coming from? As they get another clarification that his pain is connected to Nori or Sonozaki. So they rush to where she is, or where Kazuhira feels that she will be, which is an underground place in a schoolyard. So he goes there and they meet up with the counselor to try to see if they can find her and see what's going on. The counselor explains that Sonozaki was indeed about to jump off of the roof. However, she passed out and she was knocked unconscious before she can jump and fell over, hence she was saved. So thank goodness in a sense that happened, because she probably would have died. We don't know what would have happened. So they got there just in time, or maybe she passed out just in time before anything happened to her. And it is here that the field train began, as the counselor explains 12 years ago in the experiment that Nori and Kazuhira was in, there were 19 people, there were 19 kids instead of just 7 in this experiment. And when they did it back then, the intention was to take a piece of each person's pain and split it between everybody, kind of divvy up the pain between each. However, something went fatally wrong with the experiment, and one person in particular began to take all of the pain that everybody felt, and that person was Nori. She was taking on 19 times the pain as everybody else. That is crazy, because it drove her to a state where the rest of the people, they still lived their lives and went through their lives normally, but she felt everything. She felt if you sat down in a chair, if you ran, if you breathed, everything that a person went through. Basically, she was living in the body of 19 different people. That is nuts. And what they were doing, because that was causing her so much intense pain, is that she was being injected with some type of serum or some type of medicine to limit the pain that she felt, because again, she's feeling the pain of herself and she's feeling 19 people's pain. So they limit the pain with this medicine. However, it caused her to be almost docile, and this is why she has the infinite resting bitch face, because her emotions and her pain were being dulled by this medication she had to take to lengthen the blow of all the people of the pain that she was feeling within her heart. Once the experiment was over, as they mentioned in one of the earlier episodes, all of the rest of the kids in the experiment were still alive. However, they all didn't come out the same way, as Kazuhira actually got the better end of the stick in this deal, because he was able to leave, and even though he didn't feel any pain or any emotions, he was nowhere near in the state as everybody else who was considered a failure or did fail in this project, as everybody else just became one step from being a vegetable. I mean, they're still alive, but they have no emotions, they have no feelings. They all were found with just blank expressions on their faces. And Kazuhira came out the most normal out of everybody. There were a few that came out okay, but they're just like Sonozaki and Kazuhira. And this pain was so much that if she ever stops taking that medicine, who knows what type of pain she would have. It would probably even kill her, having that much pain inside of her heart. And then we get to the end of the episode where Kazuhira actually gets to see some of the kids that survived the experiment, or not survived, or got to see where the kids that were kept in the center, the ones that wasn't released or wasn't well enough to be released. He sees them, and they all have white hair, and they're pretty much dolls. They're all sitting in chairs, and they just look like mannequins, look like dolls. They're just sitting there, blank expressions, faint smiles, but it was just so dead looking, and we get the most emotion out of Kazuhira as we ever see in the entire series. As he's normal now, as he breaks down and cries when he sees these people that he pretty much grew up with, and he remembers each one of them by name. He remembers all of his emotions from back at that time, as he even remembers like the kids yelling, Nori-chan, Kazuhira loves you, and she says, I love him too. And it was just sad to see him break down and cry like that as his wailing scream takes out the episode as we go fade to black and get to the credits and the ending song. And again, this episode was just the emotional roller coaster, and I think definitely it topped last week. As I was saying, last week was probably the best episode. This is right neck and neck with it, or I probably put them both together as saying we got two very solid episodes of Kiznaiver. So that was the episode in a nutshell. I love this episode, and again, I'm clapping. I gotta tip my hat for Studio Trigger for bringing these type of feels to me, and I hope we can get more for them as a studio instead of the usual over the top. Now, don't get me wrong, I want to see another Gurren Lagann or Kill la Kill type of series, but I want them to branch their wings out more and come around more than once every few years with a series. Maybe now that they have this going, they can do a little bit more at a time and be, one of the people out there making multiple series like everyone else. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Guys, let me know what you guys thought of this episode in the comments. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit it a like. If you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as I bring you content almost daily right now. And the way that the summer schedule is looking, I probably will have something daily. You just got to wait on a few more dates to see how that's going to fare out. And of course, as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me, and I really appreciate that. So thanks for stopping by. On that note, be sure to join me tomorrow as I do a live reaction of Boku no Hero Academia, and I'll also have a review for ReZero. So on that note, it's your boy Infrared signing out. See you soon.